You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And we're live. And Sam looks Sam, what's going on?
Sam is, we're actually preparing, as you can see, Sam is in a new seat right now. And the reason is we're preparing him for a space mission. We're going to launch him to Uranus.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm going to be there mostly to look for Corey's missing thyroid that he tore out.
Right there.
So once we get that fixed, we're going to be back in action here. But yeah, sorry, give us a couple moments. Corey, you mentioned
Sam,
a while.
Yeah, go ahead.
That you tore your thyroid. How has that been for you?
Well, it took me a little bit to recover, but now that I had a chance to recover, it's I've been eating a lot better lately.
Oh, okay, good. Like what sort of stuff?
Cream cheese. I've been eating a lot of cream cheese. I've been eating froyo. I've been eating baby carrots, Go-Gurt, all the stuff that gives you all the nutrients.
Baby carrots and Go-Gurt. Absolutely.
And what about you, Sam? Well, I was going to ask you, so when you go to Uranus, what's the first thing you usually do?
Well, I usually plug my nostrils because the air there is poor quality. It's got a musk to it that I don't recommend. It's mostly an Elon Musk,
right?
Because that's where he said he's going to go next. So that's about it.
Well, that's good. I heard you're going to launch your Ford Probe up there with you.
Yeah. Right after Elon launched his Tesla, I launched my Ford Probe, kind of like a Russian-American space battle sort of thing going on. So my Ford Probe is currently in orbit around Uranus, and I don't think it's coming back anytime soon.
Yeah. Paco, side note to all this, how's your Aztec doing?
My Aztec? Yeah, it blew a head gasket, bro.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it still runs, but it smokes like a mother.
Man, that's sad.
We are back after a little hiatus after Adam Leopard Zebra was on the show. We got real tired, and quite honestly, I wanted to say it last week, but last week we were busy preparing our halftime show. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, I wanted to apologize on behalf of all of Adam LZ's fans and Adam LZ for being mean to me when I mentioned some facts about Orlando Speed World. So I accept your apology, Adam and Adam's fans. I just want you to know that it's cool that you guys were mean about it, but it's fine. We'll be fine with that. And we saw Form of the Drift Orlando. I saw it from a couch for the first time in like 6 years. That was weird. Definitely very weird. And yes, as I mentioned, we didn't have a show last week because we're preparing our remote halftime show, which unfortunately none of y'all saw because there were some bandwidth issues. But Jared and Lorette and Ryan Sage held the candle for us, and it was a beautiful candle that they held. I think they did a good job.
It burned bright.
It burned bright. But yeah, we're hopefully going to be back again in Atlanta. We're going to be recording a remote show again, just because we didn't have the budget to make it out to the rounds. So if you guys want to send us a couple checks for tens of thousands of dollars, cool. Otherwise, you'll see us on the remote halftime show in Atlanta. And yeah, we got so much to talk about with Orlando. But first, before we get into it, let's definitely thank our sponsors, Patreons. You guys kick ass. Thank you so much for the show. Grid Life, one of our newer sponsors for the show, but one of our old best friends. Grid Life Midwest is in about a month. If you have not made your plans to get out there, get out there.
Well, just let you know, it's the end of this month, Sam. Literally 3-4 weeks away. Literally 3 to 4 weeks away, which we'll all be out there. So come hang out with us and come party. Which I dropped my car off today to get the new livery put on it, so I should have it back by next week.
What's it gonna look like?
All right, can you imagine
Chef Boyardee meets Oscar Mayer.
Oscar Mayer meets
Oscar John Mayer of meats. So that's kind of what I'm going for.
Perfect.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. It sounds beautiful. Yeah. And we are going to get real deep into FD Orlando with our second guest, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But Corey, first, I heard.
We also have to.
Heard.
Wait, we also have to finish thanking.
Thanking sponsors.
Yes.
Where am I going with this? We got to thank Chef Boyardee. You guys just hopped on board. You know,
Creme brulee.
you can eat it cold out of the can. No, nothing says you got to put it in a microwave, so don't forget that. That's one of the things they want us to say. Depends. You can depend on them. And you know, Corey, you've been a longtime supporter of Depends. What's your favorite part about pooping yourself?
Just the convenience. Like I'm doing it right now, and you guys just don't know it.
Not having to get up. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I don't have to get up. If you ever get on
these shows go long, so it helps to get a Depends. We're going to be signing some Depends and sending them out to you guys, so you can sit with us the entire show without having to get up.
Yeah. No, that's been one of the biggest things that we've been always dealing with. A lot of people ask us how we can sit here for 2 hours, and it's because we just release comfortably, actually. Yeah. It's really nice.
Very comfortably. And then, of course, AM intakes. You guys are baby boys. And Link ECU.
Link ECU.
Lincoln Park ECUs.
Lincoln Park ECU is the best park for the ECUs.
Mm-hmm. You know, they're one step closer to the firewall.
I don't want to break your face right now, Sam.
That's Limp Bizkit ECU.
No, since I don't want to break.
Park, right?
Yeah, I was trying to blend it in, but
look, I got
a little too aggressive.
Points. I got a couple points here. Look, 1, something's wrong with me.
2,
2, something's got to give.
Yeah.
3,
also something's got to give.
Wow.
No.
4.
How? I just wonder how you give something twice. Is that like a? How does that work?
Making sure.
Speaking of giving, Corey, do you want to give me a little kiss before we start?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you. All right, we kiss.
All right,
Corey, tell me about that event you were hearing about.
No, so anyways, we get back from Orlando, and then we start seeing a bunch of other events pop up, especially as we're getting ready for Grid Life and things like that. And we're actually coming up with a schedule for ourselves on what events to hit this year. And then this event came up of topic of conversation, and it was the Indie Drift Challenge. And so we're like digging into it because it's actually looks like it's out in Minnesota, but they're paying $10,000.
What?
They're paying out $10,000. So
as soon as you mentioned the money, somebody just showed up.
Yeah, this is like the second highest paying drift event in the United States ever. And you know what I mean? It's like anybody can go out there. So as soon as we found out about this drift event,
we got the mayor of Indianapolis here with us.
We had to call the mayor of Minneapolis, Max Frolic.
So
Max
Crocker.
Max Crocker.
Welcome.
What's up, guys?
So how did you get the job of mayor of Minneapolis?
Well, we're nowhere near Minneapolis. Wow, we're about 4 hours away. So, as far as getting the job, I'm not sure. Just kind of landed in my lap.
Very good. Then tell us about this event, man. It sounds like you've got a lot of money that you want to give to a very talented drifter, and that is what the buzz is right now.
Well, we definitely want to pay some of these guys for all their hard work, right? So everyone, drivers are always competing and going out and spending a ton of money, and they're just doing it for fun, which is great. That's what we want to encourage, but we would love to pay someone to go out and have fun. So,
and tell us a bit about the event. Where's it going down? What's the format?
So the format's very similar to FD. There will be it's a 50 driver cap. There's top 32 in an A bracket, which is the money bracket, and then there will be a B bracket for the 33 to 33rd qualifier to 48th, so they get to drive for the weekend, so they're not out on Friday and done. And then, but in the money bracket, you'll compete in a top 32, very, very similar to FD. 3 judges for line speed or line angle and style, and then obviously the top 4 competitors get to take home money. So
that's awesome. And then
hold on, I want to talk about the money a little bit. $10,000 is that right?
It is.
All right. So what is the deal with the $10,000? How's that paying out? So if me, Sam, and Paco show up and we're ready to drive and we take first, second, and third, what are we getting?
Well, first place will get $10,000. Second place would go with 2,500, and third is 1,000. And then fourth, it does pay out to fourth place, so fourth place will take home $500. So I mean, it pays your entry fee and a little bit of food or board or whatever you decide.
So you're nearly giving away $15,000 in prize money for one drift event.
Yes, sir.
What has motivated you to do this?
Well, like I said, I think that being able to pay some of these drivers for their hard work and their ambition to want to drive, that was one thing. The second thing is this track is new, and the new track owners they put a lot of their time and money and effort into competing here, that they decided that they or not competing, but building this facility. They decided that, like, let's put on a big money event and get some of these drivers up here and get them to see what the facility's about. It's not huge. It's not Texas Motor Speedway or St. Louis or Seattle or anything like that. It's a smaller track, but it's fun and it's tight knit, and I think no matter your skill or power level that you can have a lot of fun on this track. So their idea was to entice people with some money and see if we can't get some good drivers out here and see if we can't put on one of the most gnarly events in the upper Midwest.
So you mentioned something. You said get them out here. Where is here?
Well, here is basically the border of Minnesota and North Dakota. So the track is in Glendon, Minnesota, which I'm 90% sure that no one who isn't local has heard of. But
Paco has an Aunt Glendon, and she's just an evil woman. So that's the only thing I know of Glendon.
She is
She's
rude.
very rude. Aunt Glendon, I remember her.
That's right.
But it is 10 miles from Fargo, North Dakota, and if I'm sure you guys,
don't you know?
Yep, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So,
What's the name of the track?
the track is Top End Dragways. It was a drag strip only prior to SRD, a local tuning shop, purchasing it, and last year, and then they built on a drift track basically.
What
So-
how would you describe the track in like similarity to or a hybrid of like certain tracks we might know from like FD or any other grassroots tracks?
I would say it would be similar to maybe Pat's Acres. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't have trees or anything in the middle of it, but it's just a windy track that has multiple layout options. So, yeah, I guess that would be easiest to describe. I mean, there is no, crazy elevation change. It is 10 miles from North Dakota, so we don't have a whole lot of that here.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, it's, I don't know. I guess that's the best way to explain it. It is built out of concrete, not asphalt. So longevity, tire wear,
Like
grip
drifting at
level-
a gas station.
kind of, but the gas station where in the rain it would be insanely slippery.
Yeah.
This track definitely still allows for some decent grip levels in the wet. So
Are you allowing any tire size, any power? What's the
Yeah. So there's no power or tire size rule. So I suppose if you wanted to have 1,000 horsepower and a 325 tire, that's great. But the track is on the smaller side, so it doesn't really benefit the guys to have that type of thing.
Oh, cool.
So
Do you think someone could be competitive with a 2J S14 and middle of the road mod?
absolutely, to be honest, I mean, I think that you could probably come here with 250, 300 horsepower and keep up with a 900 horsepower car. Obviously, usually the people who are drifting 900 horsepower cars can set up grip a little differently, but
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see at this event, you're going to see everyone from, 250 horsepower all the way up to, I mean, Nate Hamilton's coming and he's looking at what, 950 in his S14?
Yeah.
Nice.
And when is the event, and can people still sign up for driving? How many slots you got left?
Yeah, so we have a 50 driver cap. We're a little over half full. And but there is still time to sign up. It is June 20th through the 23rd. So the 20th being a Thursday, they can come in, get their car tacked, we'll have some practice that day as well. And then Friday will be some more practice and then qualifying. Saturday. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, and is this open to anybody? Like, obviously with a $10,000 payout, are you, is there any prior credentials required, or is this just anybody shows up can drive as long as they register beforehand?
Yep. As long as you meet the rule.
That's awesome.
As long as you meet the rule book and you can pass tech, then yeah, I mean, you could be a Pro 1 driver or you could be a grassroots driver. As long as you pass tech, then you're good to go. That said, we'd assume that our rule book was stringent enough to kind of weed out someone that might not have more than a year of experience, and we don't want anyone writing off someone else's car, right? So you can definitely be the younger guy who has some talent that had some money to build a car, and now you're competing against some quality drivers.
Awesome. It sounds like it's going to be a kick-ass event, and we're definitely going to be keeping our eye on it and following up with you guys as we near this sweet event. Is there going to be any way to watch it? Is it live streamed, or do you got to be out there?
Well, we're working on the live stream option, but we would encourage you to come because I think the experience at this facility is part of the fun, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm saying that because I'm partial, but I don't think that you're missing out on, or you're definitely not missing out or losing out on money by coming to experience this type of event.
No, not at all. And especially if you're a driver and you're kind of passing through, or even it's worth traveling however many miles to make that $10,000 potential person. Like you said, you compared it to Pat's Acres, and you see so many drivers out there, driving with their FD cars, and literally we see a bunch of stock E36s running out there, and they're so equally competitive. So even if you have something that you feel is just enough to get through grassroots, running at these smaller technical tracks definitely could work in your favor in some cases, as you're not blowing the tires off the thing. But we saw it pop up, especially it's been going crazy on Facebook lately, so we had to figure out kind of the down low on it. But it sounds like it's going to be nuts, especially giving away $10,000. Actually, it's more than that. It's almost $15,000. But still, that's awesome. And the other thing, too, is I want to thank you and you guys for investing so much into drifting. It's it's people like you and the event organizers and the track owners that is giving a lot more people an opportunity to potentially make something in drifting. And think about this. If you had a couple of these rounds a year through a couple different organizations, there's a point where drivers could potentially make a living depending on the budget and the way they operate and things like that. And so the sport needs more dudes like you guys and more tracks. We need more tracks like that as well to help support the growth of drifting. So that's why we want to kind of get you on the horn, is because what you're doing is super cool, and especially the track owners.
Yeah.
So the other thing too is, where can we find, obviously you guys have a website or a Facebook group? How, for a lot of these guys listening right now, I'm sure they're probably gonna go check it out after this, because it's $10,000 a win. But where can we find you?
Facebook /ND Drift, obviously, and then we have Instagram ND Drift as well, and then the track is Top End Dragways, so both on Facebook and on Instagram, so you can check out those as well. So
awesome,
cool, man. Yeah,
Nice.
well,
I appreciate it. This should be fun, and adding the guest judge to it definitely brings out some of that factor too. So
that's gonna be
who's your
Matt
guest
Field,
judge?
right?
Matt Field, yeah,
Nice.
Matt will be coming out with Falcon and judging for us. So we're being one of our 3 judges.
So you're bringing
Nice.
out some hitters, yeah. With what you guys are doing, I expect to have a bunch of pros rolling through there to try to collect a little extra cheddar, but also it gives an opportunity to compete with the grassroots dudes. So we'll make sure to get some links up too, because I think people should really go check this thing out, especially for what you're doing and contributing to the sport of drifting is freaking awesome.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. These guys have put in a lot of work, and I'm just here riding the bus.
And so, last thing too is, as you get closer to the event, let's try to get you back on for another 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just so you can kind of give us an idea of how this is unfolding. As obviously we want to support what you're doing, and once again, thank you for everything you're doing for the community.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thank you for giving us a call, and I'd love to chat again.
Yeah, dude. Awesome, Max. Well, we appreciate you, and
Thank you.
we'll be
Good luck.
following
We'll
up
have
with
you
you
back
soon.
soon.
Good luck in the upcoming mayoral race from Indianapolis. We appreciate you, Governor Maximilian. Stay
Yeah.
strong.
Thanks, guys.
No worries. See you, man.
Wow.
Also, before we talk to our main guest here, I also wanted to bring up some of my favorite YouTube comments from the Adam LZ show. Steve
on
Miller
it.
wrote, "Sam is very monotone and very tiring to listen to. Seems to bring the mood down." So,
I mean, you're definitely kind of monotone. Is that supposed to be bad?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
I can try to talk more in different tones from now on, I guess.
I suddenly felt like I was in Les Miserables.
Les Miserables. Oh, here's another good one
Ooh.
from Live, Love, Ride. Whoever the old man is should really take guests more seriously. Then Paco responded, "You're new here, huh?"
You must be new here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really awesome show with Adam. And I imagine if you guys tuned into any of the FD live streams like we have, I haven't been around in the FD live stream chat in a while. But boy, that's a special place. And there's a lot of people that really were interested in Adam and finding out what he was doing, and everyone up in arms about why he wasn't either in the competition, because unfortunately he just qualified just below the threshold with a very high qualifying score that would have gotten him into pretty much every other Pro 2 event prior to this. But yeah, the chat was divided into people that either A, were really upset he didn't qualify, B, had no understanding of where he was or what happened, and C, people thinking that he should have already won the championship. And then, of course, D, people saying that he's a fucking loser and doesn't know what he's doing. So there was a lot of people in there that were all over the spectrum, and it was quite.
What's crazy is that
interesting.
went through through Saturday.
Mhm.
The entire event, the whole chat was
Saturday Pro 1. The entire chat was like, "Where's Adam?"
nothing but people asking for Adam and a lot of people speaking Portuguese.
Yeah,
lot of
the
Joao fans. Yeah,
Joao fans were in force there as well. Needless to say, I'll probably be turning off my YouTube comments for any future live stream watching.
yeah. Wow, I just saw my face on the camera and my eyes look terrible. I've been rubbing my eyes for like 4 days because the allergies are kicking my butt.
Well, what you have to do, Paco, is wash your hands after you wipe and before you rise.
I mean, I do, but it's just like I don't know if it's
Paco's rubbing straight mud into his eyes is what he's doing. Come on. Come on, Yak.
Saying that we're going to call him.
So, but before we call him, dude, what? It's only been 2 rounds, but
hold on, Corey. We can't say what we're going to say now because some dude showed up.
Oh, boy. I don't even know what to say now.
Whenever you get a chance to swap
Hey. Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up with you guys?
Odie, hey, man.
Don't talk too loud to him.
Why is
He,
acting all weird?
man is
No,
sick.
because I'll tell you why. Because I want Sam to be more excited. So I was trying to one up Sam.
Odie, do you think I'm very monotone, old bitch?
No, man, you're great.
All right, thank you.
Oh,
Odie said it.
Thing Odie you've ever said.
You're cooler than all of Adam LZ's fans. Thank you. Someone said that I'm a monotone old bitch.
Well, people
what do
say
you
a lot of
mean?
mean things, man.
Yeah, it's true.
So, hey, Odie, if you were to give Sam life lessons, how would you tell him? Or let's say if Sam was your kid and somebody bullied him at school and said that, what would you tell him to say back or do?
I'd say, Sam, they're just probably having a really bad day,
Yeah.
and
Fuck
they're
them,
just
huh?
they got problems at home, Sam.
Yeah, thank you.
Odie's such a good dad. Odie can be the Driftcast dad.
Yay.
Get life lessons from Odie.
Odie, everyone in the chat's already blown it up, of course. Are you still sick? Are you feeling better? Everyone is worried about you after seeing you win your second event in a row this year, but you looked like you were ready to fall asleep / pass out every time we saw Lorette talk to you.
Yeah, I was not feeling well. I'm feeling better. I'm on antibiotics because I went to urgent care right after the event, but I'm feeling much better. I think there was a bug going around. I'm not the only one that got sick. So.
Yeah, which is even crazier testament to. It's not like you've been like secretly hiding in the back. You've been doing very well these past few years, but I think it's kind of still like a quieter success you've had. But now it's not so quiet anymore. You've won the first 2 rounds of 2019 Formula Drift season in pretty decided battles. Like there wasn't really any contention in those wins. We had Forsberg DB'd unfortunately, so we didn't get to see the full final in Orlando, nor could we hear it because the live stream cut out with Jared's audio. But we still saw you throw down one of the very impressive runs once again. What sort of drugs are you taking? Some sort of performance enhancement? Like what is happening this year?
Extend or anything?
You taking a lot of extends?
Yeah, we're working on this new drug. No, I honestly just have a really good team behind me this year, and that's given me some confidence. And just every time we're out there at the track, I got guys that could make the car do what it needs to do. So yeah, I we got a lot of events coming our way still. These were just the 2. So I hope we have the same luck on our side going forward.
And we've mentioned on the show many times, your car setup is probably one of the most unchanged in the 5-ish or so years, or however long you've had this. I know you switched to the Genesis for a minute, but as far as like the S14.5 it's a 14.5, right? S14.
Yeah, it's just an S14 with
But I mean, you've kept it very similar and just done minor enhancements and minor tweaks to bring it forward a little bit, but you haven't made radical changes to it in a long time. And I think that consistency, that reliability is something that has been growing throughout the past few years of your successful seasons, but it's really come to a point right now where you just look so comfortable and the car goes exactly where you want it to go every time. And it's quite interesting to see that's the new Daigo effect, man. It's reliability.
Yeah, it's nice to hop in a car that how it's gonna act. And the 240s are like really cookie cutter, especially the way mine's built, but yet they're so adjustable. You could really make a S14 like mine just totally undrivable. If you take my car and you adjust things in the wrong fashion, it just doesn't work. So after running an S14 year after year after year, you avoid those settings that make it just not drivable, and you find ways to make it work at every single track. And it's crazy how different of a setup sometimes you need for different tracks, and it takes a while to figure that out. So running the same car really helps.
And then Joshua Osborne in YouTube chat says, I'm still 90% convinced Odie is my dad. Do you know Josh?
How old are you, Josh?
Josh, let us know how old you are. Yeah, there's a possibility. Because you just got a fresh bun out of the oven, right?
Yeah.
Who's the new bun?
Adam.
Adam.
He's
Little
great.
babe Adam. That's awesome. And like the last time we had you on, is Adam going to make any rude interruptions in the middle of your show and make you have to go tend to some bathroom crisis? Or
Absolutely. We're at probably the poop explosion in the diaper stage right now.
Oh, awesome.
Paco still hasn't outgrown that yet, so hopefully Adam's able to get through that much sooner than Paco.
Well, I heard you guys have a Depends sponsorship, so hopefully that treats you well.
You want to join the club?
I need a Huggy sponsorship right now.
Yeah.
Especially with your newborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
That would work.
Is his middle name LZ or no?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
if it was.
sorry.
That's all right. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of angry fans from that, but
For not making his
your
middle name
decision.
LZ. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So coming into the season, obviously you been not really developing your car, but it looks like you got the engine rebuilt. And you went through a few minor changes with the car. What was it at Long Beach where you kind of felt like everything was working in your favor? Did you have like a moment where it's like, all right, we found the secret sauce?
No. Honestly, every single year at Long Beach, I want more out of my car. And this year, it was better than it was last year, and I wanted even more out of it. And honestly, I didn't hit the wall. I didn't crash. My team didn't have to scramble and work on it. And I put my team through that last year. And, that helped a lot. And I was just really aware of like, hey, these are the basically limits of my car. and drive within these limits. And I did that, and the car does work a lot better than it did last year, but it's not really crazy changes that we made. We just, like I said earlier, we just know what things to not adjust to the extreme to make it work. And I kind of stayed within that box, and it worked really well.
How much driving do you do during the off season? Like I said, you came out on fire, but did you spend much time during the off season testing and developing, or?
No, I mean, I couldn't because I had Adam on the way. He was actually due the week before Long Beach, so I had a goal of getting the car ready well before that because he could have, come early, and he did. Luckily, I didn't. I had like 2 weeks before Long Beach. I tested 3 times before Long Beach in the S14, and I got to drive my S13 at Winter Jam. So not much driving, that's for sure. I'd love to do a lot more driving in between rounds or before the season.
So maybe that's a secret that James Dean has been driving too much, and you got to just chill out like Odie.
Well, Sam, I consider driving a lot like running. The longer you run, the tired you get, and the worse you get tired.
Yeah, look, you've only got so many heartbeats, and if you run more, your heart beats more. It's just like your car. Like that engine's only gonna move its cylinders, a couple hundred times. I don't know much about motors, but every time you flip that gas switch, it's gonna make that car not good. So the less you drive, the better you are. That's what I've been saving up for the past few years. I haven't driven in like 3 years, drifted. So it's like when I get back,
you're gonna be really good.
Yeah,
you're gonna be the best. You're gonna be
crazy.
super good. No, it's gonna be crazy. I can see why you've been holding off for so long, but we're excited to see you in Pro 1 next year, Sam, and going against Odie. And Odie should be scared of you. He really should be, and he won't say it because I know Odie, but he won't say it because with that 3 years off, you should be really good.
Well, I've been petitioning Jim and Ryan for a while now to get Pro 1. So I mean, I've got a lot of credentials, as you can see, and they've said yes for sure.
Nice.
Odie, now that you've given us your secret, I'd say that you can step aside. Oh, wait, I got to get dad strength first, though.
Yeah.
Paco and I have been doing no FAP May.
I mean, no right hand fap.
Yeah, so I've already
left.
broken the record twice. But I'm going to get through May, maybe.
Do you believe in no fat May? Are you gonna ask Odie if he believes in no fat May or no?
Well, I gotta find out if there's any ladies listening. Odie, is your wife listening?
Yeah.
Can you
She's
tell
upstairs
her
listening?
Can you
I'm
tell her
pretty sure.
earmuffs that last comment? I don't want her to hear that. All right, maybe not. Let's do some quick super chat questions. Corey Smith said, FT Atlanta needs your physical bodies all over it. Thank you, Corey. We're going to be trying to do a remote show again from Atlanta. We shall see if it works out. It will. It will. Positive intention. And that's a YouTube super chat question. If you guys want to get something across to Odie, or you want to get something to us or ask a question, you can go on YouTube if you're listening live. Do a super chat. We also got one from Aaron Quilas. Odie, space, exclamation point, space, lowercase, not capitalized, Y. And your chase driving is the best in the game, space, period, space. How do you adjust so well to the other drivers' lead styles? Best of luck this year. It looks like kiss face, kiss face, kiss face.
Nice.
I think I just do what every other driver does. Like, you have to be alert and behind them. Luckily, I feel comfortable like left foot braking behind someone when I need to, and then some drivers you can't do that. You have to switch to hand braking behind them. I think just alternating back and forth between the two, and knowing which driver you gotta do one or the other with.
So your bracket was pretty stacked in Orlando, and we can talk about Long Beach too. I just got to pull up that bracket, but you had Meeks, and then Gucci, and then JTP, and then Vaughn, and then Forsberg, which seems insane considering I had Gucci, like when we filled out our brackets for halftime show stuff, like I had Gucci in the semifinals. I thought that JTP might also be in the semifinals, not to mention Vaughn, coming back with an incredibly strong car. Like this was not an easy bracket, but you kind of made it look easy, I guess. What was tell us a bit about your battles?
Justin's been on fire, man. I
know.
That's, you just mentioned he's been really good. And Ken, I was worried because I lost to Ken last year here, or not last year. I've lost to Ken in Orlando before. I was driving the Genesis when that happened. Mm-hmm. So I knew all these guys during practice, they didn't seem to have issues. So it was just one of those events shaping up to be challenging for me. And it was not like an easy walk in the park. And I just had to reset after every single battle because each driver was very different to battle with. And I think everyone saw that me battling with Vaughn, his driving style was hard for me to adapt to. And I beat myself up over it because it took me a long time to kind of adapt to his driving. And it was just a tough event, and not feeling well, made it a little bit tougher as well.
After each run, you'd just have a little sip of water or fall asleep if you could.
Do you think that you were taking Dayquil or something like that?
I don't remember when I started taking Dayquil. It was probably in the very morning, honestly, of Saturday. I woke up with a sore throat. But Justin was nice enough to give me Pedialyte, so I started drinking that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Would that be considered you were using enhancing substances?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How did you take the Dayquil? Like, how did you administer it? You got a couple ways to do it. I found. What's your favorite way to get it inside your body?
I actually had the pill form, so swallowing it, but I prefer the liquid stuff. It's kind of hard to travel with it.
Yeah, you can butt chug that
spills.
stuff.
It always guarantees to spill on your clothes and all that. So.
Oh, that's actually happened to me before. Like I had a new bottle that was barely opened, and then it was in my suitcase, and it exploded in the flight. Or TSA had a little fun, and just dumped it all over my clothes that I couldn't wash for the week. That was cool. TSA. I noticed that you battled JTP and Forsberg in Long Beach as well. It's pretty crazy because those are two of the toughest guys I think out there, and they have completely different driving styles, and you overcame both now twice, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, I didn't really get to battle Chris, but I was definitely looking forward to it.
You did one half of a battle, didn't you? I forget, did it?
Yeah. Oh, I got to do a lead run,
Yeah.
So, and that's when he debeated, I think, coming off the bank. So there was no chase for me after that.
Let's talk about that real quick, Ode. You're a tech wizard. I'd like to consider you one of the most wizardy persons I've ever met in my entire life. Why is everybody running extremely low tire pressures, and we're seeing tire debeating so common at this track? At what point does the tire stop working at being so low on pressure?
I think half of it's the jump into the pit too. Like that's screwing everyone up.
But there's you notice the trend. A lot of people were debeating, especially in practice. But
I feel like that's always happened.
At what pressure do you feel that you start debeating the tires, and at what point do you think the tire stops working?
Every track's different, and honestly, people weren't running that low of tire pressures in Orlando, the ones that were debeating. I think what's happening is we're going much faster every single season, meaning even a couple miles an hour is much faster on the broad scheme of things when you go into something rough like the transition off the bank into the infield. And our tire pressures are not that low at Orlando. Everyone knows better, but we still seem to be debeating. So we're going a little bit faster and we're running out of suspension travel, or it's just feels that much more abrupt for the tire when we come off the bank. And I think just the increased aggression and speed is what's causing you guys to see tires come off. It's some of the drivers I asked that debeated, they were like, man, I was not even running that low of tire pressure. Like it's just the roughness of the track and that we're going a little bit faster and harder.
Can you give us an example of what tire pressures are ran, just from a range from what would be considered low and what would be considered on the higher end?
It depends what brand of tire you're on, but
Right.
Majority of the tires that are like, I'd say most of them, low pressures would be like low teens. There's tire brands where you have to run below that. You have to run single digits.
Jesus.
So it's all over the place. But then you have other tires that don't work well in the low teens, like the proportion of forward grip to side grip just kind of gets all wacky. So some guys run, high teens. I'd say average, majority of the time, low teens is what you're going to see on most Formula D cars.
Unreal. On what size tire? Like a 275, 285? I can't imagine the type of grip that's producing.
It seems like most of the tires are 40 series now. So like 285, 295 Seems to be like the popular size. And then you got 315, I think it is, that Vaughn was running.
Yep.
That's
The
a
Nittos.
huge tire. Yeah, it's
That
crazy
Turk-
what
The
where
Turk
the
also
sport's
has to
going.
run, which is pretty crazy because I don't think they have those tires in all the sizes. So Turk is also running a 315 on his tiny FRS.
Yeah, it's a crazy big wide tire. So it's all over the place, and that's what's cool about the sport. You got like a ton of variety of different sizes of tires, different compounds. It's rad. So definitely a lot to learn by seeing how different cars adapt to the different tire and different tire size as well. It's very interesting to me.
Hey, Odie.
So
Hold on. And on the same thing of tires, like, I mean, obviously, because you're known for being very good at setting up your car suspension and all that. When you're setting up your car for more traction, how important or how let's say what's a priority? What takes priority? Like getting the most mechanical grip from the suspension alignment and all that, or from the tires, or like does it really matter? Like you guys try to maximize traction just from suspension, and at the very end, just get even a little bit more, like a little extra with the tire pressure.
That's a cool question. Everyone attacks it differently. What I do is in the off season or anytime I test, I usually run like a higher tire pressure, and I don't deviate from that. And I try to get as much mechanical grip out of the car as possible. I usually run a higher pressure during testing than I would normally run at a FD event, and that way doesn't mask any inability for the car to make good traction mechanically. Does that answer your question?
I guess,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It's
and
so
I'm gonna
much easier to drop tire pressure when you're at the event, scratching your head how to make your car faster because you just don't feel comfortable in practice. So getting all the mechanical grip out of your car as you can, and then leaving tire pressure for those instant adjustments is kind of what I like to do.
All right, so I want to kind of elaborate on that question a little bit more too. So when you go to coming off a flat track like Long Beach, going into Orlando, obviously you have the bank and the dip, and they're long sweeping corners. What would be the first process to start tuning your grip to the last? Like where would you start, and then where would you end up to start fine tuning?
Honestly, for Orlando, I kind of I had to leave grip like last on the table, like last thing on the list, because Orlando is so rough and drivability of the car is so important that I chased, hey, let's make sure we don't like physically hit anything on the car because it's so abrupt. We don't want the diff hitting the ground. We don't want the tires making
travel, right? Like you can't.
We do. We have a ton, and we have to be responsible with it. We don't want our tire hitting the inner fenders or body work and then just screwing us up while we're transitioning or something. So those were first on the list, and then making the car drivable after we increase spring rates and raise the car. And you know, we raised the car, which has could play havoc on toe gain in the rear, because toe gain and controlling toe gain is really important, especially on rough tracks. You don't want to have some crazy wacky toe gain curve. After you raise the car, all that changes.
Right.
So the process for me was get the geometry set right on the car and the ride height, make sure there's no interference, and then try to focus on grip while I'm there at the event.
You notice you mentioned a lot about toe gain. Is that drifting in the side of Japan mountains, or?
No, it's what happens when your toes are too small. You rub a bunch of toe gain on them.
Oh, it makes them feel better.
Yeah, it makes them grow up.
Nice.
You guys
See,
know
this
all
is just
about it.
all suspension talk 101. We know about the toe gain for a long time. Paco's.
I'm
been
all
looking to
about
go
the
to
I'm all
Japan.
about the camel toes.
Paco, Jesus Christ,
Jeez,
dude.
man.
Take it fucking easy.
Yeah, we're talking about Japanese drifting.
Odie's wife is a mom now, and you can't just say stuff like that.
Again, double mom.
Again, she's double mommed. Jesus, Paco.
We're just trying to, you know, we're so involved with drifting that, you know, things like toe gain is what really evolved the sport into what it is today. So I appreciate that you bring that up, Odie, because you're sticking to your roots.
All right, sorry about Paco. Odie, what position do you think Adam was conceived in?
I could actually maybe figure that out, but
Okay.
another time.
Think about it for now.
This is just we'll save it to the end.
A couple of
Wow.
questions.
Your
in the super
appetite for things is
chat. Look, I just like knowledge, Odie. Okay, I just need to know.
Well,
Knowledge is
Versus-
power.
well, you know what the thing is
are
if
you,
we're
are you trying to conceive? What's
yes,
going
well,
on?
I'm trying to avoid conception, so I want to avoid reverse cowgirl or whatever. So
Well, we're just trying to be the quarter of the man that you are, because for us, one, we haven't been that lucky with women ever in our lives. Two, you're one of the world's best drifters, which is that's something we're definitely not.
Yeah,
You
I
have
mean, I've been knocked
beautiful
up for a while.
facial hair, so we're just trying to see what we can do to kind of start working up to your level. So conceiving is one of them, one of the important factors.
You guys are very kind.
in conception of a grip on a drift car, like let's say that you're like someone who hasn't driven in 3 years and you've got an S14 with a bunch of aftermarket suspension on it, but you have not the slightest idea how to set it up for mechanical grip. Where do you start? Asking for a friend.
You probably should put really good coilovers on it first.
I tried to
And
get
then-
you to get me free coilovers already.
Pass that chance.
All right, so you get good coilovers on the car. That way, at least it's tame on the track. It's not flopping all over the place. And then you got to figure out all your cool aftermarket parts you got on the car, especially the back of an S14. Probably best thing to do, and anyone could do, is get a set of toe plates and take the springs off the rear shocks and just start cycling the car from where the ride height is at down to all the way down to like the bump stop on the shock, and just see what it's doing, because you might be freaked out and see that it's actually towing out under compression when it should be towing in. Make sure your tire's not hitting the inner fender or your fender lip or something crazy like that, because those things that you would think people never overlook, people do all the time, and you'll be chasing some sort of weird suspension problem that could be a super easy fix.
So if your car is towing in or out a bunch under compression, do you just adjust your standard tow then, or do you adjust in other ways?
No, so some of the cool aftermarket parts you got on the back of the car would actually allow you to adjust the tow gain. If you can't do that, you can mess with the length of the traction rod, which is like the shortest rod on the back of the car. And if you make that longer or shorter, that will affect your tow gain or tow loss. So, dial that in. And
This is why I won't ever be good at drifting, Sam. I'm just letting you know that right now.
This. Like,
well,
like,
okay, so just disregard, don't do all that. That's kind of a lot of steps. You got to pull the springs off and cycle it and check that.
never runs.
Just align the car. And if you have good coilovers, it probably won't let it cycle obnoxiously to where, even if you have haggard geometry, at least just align it well to begin with and put good coilovers on it. And just at least make sure that your wheels aren't constantly hitting and rubbing stuff, because I see that all the time, and it throws people in for a loop, and they don't know why they're spinning out when they hit a bump.
Well, do you know what? It's interesting you mentioned all that stuff about taking the spring off, cycling the suspension, seeing what your tire does under load and while it's unloading. But this is the standard of professional drifting anymore. This is where the sport is going, which is another cool thing too, is because it is just the evolution that everything down to that point has to be on par to win back-to-back events. It's not, competing at that level. Obviously, you just can't throw an eyeball alignment on it anymore and say, no, it looks good, and you kick the tires, and yeah, it's about 22 psi. There's a science to everything now, and that is what's creating obviously so much success in your program.
I think it's just cool in general for drifting, because it's nice to talk to someone that's like road racing or doing something and they feel like they're super high tech about it. And then I want drifters to talk to people like that and say, we do this and that on the car. It's a little different than yours. I like seeing that drifting's getting more professional, and I'd like to see drivers have the knowledge to be able to set up their car well and just represent the sport well, like amongst the whole motorsport community.
Well, we definitely remember you being a non-facial hair bald man back in Vegas Drift, and then you evolved and blossomed into this grizzly man that lives in the mountains of California that is destroying Formula Drift. But obviously, it's much different than obviously from you first started until now, and how simple it was then versus what you're doing now. And did you ever thinking about, obviously starting in Vegas Drift, ending up where you are, have you ever thought it would be progressing at this rate?
I wasn't thinking that much, honestly, back then. I was just fortunate enough to get into drifting when, honestly, the barriers to entry were very low. Corey, you were there at Vegas Drift. You showed up. You could show up with a SR powered car, and if you have the drive to just run lap after lap and get used to your car, you could win. So I was fortunate enough to get into the sport when it was fairly simple, and now it's crazy. I mean, I hate to say it, the barriers to entry into drifting into Pro-Am are pretty freaking high now. You got to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, I feel that way about many of the endeavors that I'm with in my life. It's like, oh, if I would have started 5 years later, I would be screwed because there's already so many good people doing it right now.
Well, do you know what? It's a prime example of what Odie just said. Is look at the Pro 2 competition this past round. Like, look at what type of cars showed up. I don't know if obviously we watched the live stream, but did you have a chance to see the cars that showed up, Odie?
Yeah, I watched Pro 2, and man, I was blown away. I mean, and the variety of cars too. Yeah, like they're all like, they sounded like they're screamers. They're making enough power to definitely make it around the track with some aggression.
Yeah. They look good too.
nuts.
Like people had all their body panels. People had professional liveries, and people were completing their qualifying runs. I think the tandem still has a bit of growth, of course, comparatively. Like, qualifying looked awesome. Tandem was still a bit sloppy, but I mean, these guys are still so young in the sport comparatively to a lot of the guys in Pro 1, and I'm sure it'll get better. It's already definitely by far the most impressive Pro 2 showing I've seen, and like dudes like Adam Leopard Zoo, he drove really well, but it's like there was just other people that drove better, and it's insane to see how much better everyone has gotten. And then like Trenton Beecham got the golden ticket, not the golden ticket, what do you call it? The golden round, where he like won qualifying and then won the event, and it's like you see these guys doing so well that they could be Pro 1 drivers. Definitely, it's weird.
And also back to Orlando too, Odie. On that note, is from first place to 16th place in qualifying was less than 10 points, and the same thing was in Pro 2. Like, that is just where the sport is going. Is now it's like, how do you win? Do you win by somebody making a mistake or having one slight advantage? It's just compared to 2 years ago.
It is tough, and I would hate to be the judges right now, because that was a horrible. I don't know how patient you got to be. I mean, that's so many scores in the 90s, and I'm looking at score after score and run after run. I'm like, man, it would be tough to critique these drivers right now.
Do you think they should change the scale of scoring now that half of the field is getting 90 and above? Like, should we try to expand it again and make it so it's like people are actually getting 50s to 90, 50 to 100 rather than 90 to 99?
It feels badass to get like a 90, even though you're in like 10th place. So I don't know.
How did you qualify? Yeah, I'm trying to see right now.
I qualified 5th.
Yeah, with what score?
297s.
That's insane.
Yeah. I think I've qualified with a 97 or a 98 and have gotten first for sure, but not these days. So.
You qualified 5th both rounds here.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. But, the rules do slightly change every season. So we'll see how next season is.
Anything you would change if you could right now in the sport? The rules and whatever?
No, I mean, maybe for Pro 2, like lower the barriers to entry a little bit. It is, it's nuts. Those cars that you guys saw, those are really expensive cars. And
they're all Pro 1 cars, just on small tires.
Yeah, some probably have more money than some of the Pro 1 cars. I mean, flat out.
Well, what do you think about obviously one of the tests that they were doing with Pro 2 is running a spec tire? What do you think about bringing a spec tire into Pro 1 as far as the size?
I think having a diverse field of tire manufacturers in Pro 1 is our livelihood of Formula Drift, of drifting in the United States. So I think we just can't do that. It is it's like the heartbeat, I feel like, of Formula D, is having all the different varieties of tires and the tire support from different tire brands, and honestly the financial backing that the tire brands bring to the drivers and to the series itself.
So do you think if the tire companies come to agreement of saying, okay, do you know what, our tire size as a series is going to be 275s, but and have the manufacturers kind of agree on that, do you think that would help at all or no?
Not really, because now you're comparing apples to oranges. The 275 brand X might be completely different than a 275 brand Y. So at least now you have brand X that, you know, hey, the 275 might not work well, but hey, if we make it at this size and just make the car a little bit heavier, this brand of tire will still be very competitive. It just gives you that wiggle room to where you can compare. Basically, any tire brand could still be really competitive against one another as long as the driver has the leeway to pick and choose the size, if that makes any sense.
No, and that's the other thing too, is you've driven on a lot of different tires, especially in Formula Drift. We've seen you probably think 2 or 3 tire manufacturers. And so you're coming from personal experience as far as the significant differences between tire brands and sizes.
Yeah, there's a definite difference. And every tire brand has their like strong, I feel like, size or preferred size for most drivers, and that's why you see the variety of sizes on cars. And we all kind of make our cars weigh in at a certain weight to fit the tire that we chose to run.
What's your weight this season?
Right over 3,000 pounds with me in it. I think it's 3,060 or 3,050.
So you're 63 pounds. I don't care about the car. I was asking, like, what's your weight this season?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was with me in it. Whenever anyone asks weight on a Formula D car, I assume it's with me, everything fully topped off, because that's how we get tech.
Yeah, wet
Exactly.
car, wet Odie.
So I'm like,
they got to wet you down to fit you in that thing.
Yeah, we wear the like diving weights around our waist, and whatever we got to do.
One thing that's cool about Odie is, for those that haven't seen him in real life, he's been successful mostly because FD gets so competitive. It's kind of like, the Kentucky Derby with jockeys right now. So Odie's coming in at a clean 4 foot nothing, 63 pounds.
Yeah.
And that enables him to dial in the weight on his car just perfectly. So,
super agile too.
Yeah.
He moves like a gazelle. Have you ever seen him walk through the pit, Sam?
I've seen him prance like a gazelle.
Magnificent.
It's
magnificent. Super magnificent. When you're 63 pounds wet,
just glide.
I would expect somebody to move like that, like Odie does.
And he's soaked, and like that's like at least 2 pounds of water weight when he's wet. And also one thing you might notice about Odie when you see him out there on grid, he's got the tightest suit of anyone. Not a single wrinkle. It's just like a latex.
No. It's like a singlet. It's like a nice singlet suit. It's a fireproof singlet.
That's right.
You'll notice some bulges in certain areas, but other than that, it's pretty much just streamlined like a dolphin.
Well, the thing was, if I ever tried squeezing into Odie's suit, it would look like a bag of potatoes, but Odie just makes it look perfect.
Speaking of, there was someone had mentioned, Chad, it could have been Josh here. He mentioned that now that you and Vaughn have newborns, have you thought about doing a baby Thunderdome type of deal?
No, but I would like, my kids to hang out with all the driver kids for sure. We actually went go-karting with Michael S.'s daughter recently, and that was really cool.
Did both of your daughters enter a ring and only one left, or?
They both left, and it was good.
Double fatality. All right, like Mortal Kombat style. And then we got a couple super chat questions.
Yeah.
Eric Larson says, "Is Odie going to enter the 10K Drift Challenge?" We just talked to Max about. You heard. Are you gonna enter the 10K Drift Challenge, Odie?
Unfortunately, I don't have any time or extra resources to do anything outside of the Formula D season right now. So
it seems like a pretty.
But what are your thoughts about these kind of events?
I think it's cool. I was listening to him explaining it, and you guys picking his brain about it. That's awesome, man. The more events we could have like that, the more people we can motivate to get their drift cars out of their garage and actually finish building them and go and start spinning laps. So that's kudos to those guys. Very cool.
Odie, I do have a question for you. And this is, I don't want to say it's personal, but I just want to know, obviously, you being a double dad.
Here we go.
I just want to know, did you notice the more kids you have, like dad jokes getting funnier and funnier? And do you have any new dad jokes?
I don't, but you do pay more attention to anything that's dad related for sure.
Can
So
I throw some at you real quick?
I'd
and
love
just
to
tell
hear
me-
them. Go for it.
Let me see here. What do you call an alligator that works on Wall Street?
A Walligator.
I don't know, croc.
No, it's not a croc, Odie. Come on, it's an investigator.
I like it.
Okay. Here's another one, Odie. Because you ran Vegas Drift. Here's another dad joke. Tell me if this is funny. What's the Nevada city where all the dentists visit?
Oh, I don't know my cities of Nevada.
It's all right. I'll tell you. It's Floss Vegas. Is that pretty good? See, you're laughing at that. See, that's the thing. I think you have to have 2 kids before the dad jokes really start kicking in. Yeah, let me see. Should I do one more, Sam?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Odie, want to hear a joke about paper?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Never mind, it's terrible.
Oh. Not bad.
Wow. Well, these guys browse through. There's
All
another super chat from Joshua Osborne. Joshua is asking, do you still have the IS300 wagon? Which, by the way, I love that thing.
I liked it a lot too, but I do not own it anymore.
You sold it?
I sold it. Yeah.
When did you sell it to me?
You didn't ask.
Oh, I didn't know it was for sale.
It wasn't for sale. Someone asked to buy it, and we did what we had to do with it. We created a cool video series, and we I feel like educated people on what you can do quickly and easily. And I didn't want to go tear into it anymore. And yeah, someone wanted it more than I did at that point. So.
Hey, Odie, so I wanted to tell you something. I thought about going on an all almond diet, but I didn't because that's just nuts.
Odie, 2 goldfish are in a tank. One says to the other, do you know how to drive this thing? Did you guys see the
I don't
Freddie
get it.
Osmo Mr. Peanut video?
Yep.
I really enjoyed the part at the very end where he says, "Catch you later." Like the video was fun, you know. There's some awesome shots, some awesome driving, but it really reeled me in when he says "catch you later."
That was a
real hook sinker.
Yeah. Do you know what I realized this was ridiculous. I didn't notice my whole life. So you've all seen the bumper sticker "honk if you're horny," right?
Wow.
For sure, yeah. My mom has that on her car.
Yeah, I always just thought it meant like honk if you've got a boner, essentially, right?
Okay.
But no, if you think about it, you honk your horn.
Oh, you
So
didn't
you get it?
you didn't know that, Sam?
No, I just
Wow.
thought it meant like if you're boned up, you gotta honk the horn.
Dude, I would love for you to fly by me on the freeway just laying on the horn. Full nooner, dude.
There was
Sam has a boner again. Well, how can you tell? You just pulled up the freaking honk his horn
just
again.
hung on his horn. What the hell was that?
That's Paco's horn in the Aztec.
There's a comedy show. I forget what it's called. It's just on the tip of my tongue right here. But there's a skit where a guy sees a honk if I'm horny bumper sticker on the car in front of him, and he sits there laying on his horn, madly honking it, and then following the guy all around town, just screaming how horny he is.
That's wonderful.
Have you thought about putting that kind of sticker on your car, Odie? Or
No, I think the only bumper sticker I had on my car is Paco has that bumper somewhere.
600 HP LOL.
Right
Yeah,
there.
1,000 horsepower LOL.
No, 1,000 horsepower LOL. Paco, do you still have that in the studio right there? Let's see. Let's see if Paco can show us. Grab it real quick if it's still there. There it is.
is.
Yeah. See, that's not going anywhere. We have that.
Awesome.
I remember having that because you were literally running what horsepower were you running at that time?
It depended on how much nitrous I want to run through the motor, but it was like 650 at Long Beach when I showed up with that bumper. It was pretty cool.
what do you think your
Wow.
level's at this year?
What's that?
What do you think your power level is at in Orlando this year?
Well, on the dyno is 920, I think, and Orlando's a little hot and muggy, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a quite healthy 920, but it was enough. It was fun. It was good.
Here's a question on top of that horsepower. Do you feel you're getting at a point at 920 horsepower that you're going to have to bump up the power to compensate with the additional grip that you're adding, or do you feel you found a balance?
I think it's cool. I think the torque is what's allowing me to. It's a fine balance. It's good because you could have 900 horse, and if you have like 700 horse or 700 pounds of torque, I don't think that's going to feel the same. I think our torque came up really close to our horsepower number, and that's making the car drivable. And obviously we have bottom end torque, so I spray nitrous starting at 2400 RPM and turn it off at 4200 RPM. So I think that's what makes the car just very drivable. You could have a really powerful car, but if the power band isn't there, even if you have over 1,000 to the wheels, it's not really going to do you well.
How do you real quick? Sam, sorry, Corey. Real quick. What do you call a fish with two knees?
A catfish. I don't know.
It's a toonie fish.
Oh.
It's like tuna.
Yeah,
Man.
dad jokes are. I love dad jokes.
Sorry, Corey. Back to your question.
Yeah. No, that's. Thanks for interrupting up for that, Sam, because that was totally worth it.
There's a super
how do you
chat.
think you would be doing this year? How do you think you would be doing this year if you were still running that 600-700 horsepower? Do you think you'd be as competitive as you are?
No.
That joke's so good.
Sorry, we need to apologize for Sam.
Let's let him laugh it out.
Toonie fish.
No, it'd be tough, man. It'd be tough. Tracks like Long Beach, you could do okay. Tracks that are banked, it's tough because there's so much load on the bank, so much grip. Tracks like Irwindale would be just damn near impossible you'd have to gear your car to be slower. Everything would be, you could do it and you could drive and you could have amazing qualifying runs, but everyone's really quick and has a lot of grip. And when you have that much grip, you need power.
So running against Vaughn, did you feel that you had the advantage over him based on the way your car was driving over his? Obviously you advanced from that, but comparing it to like Vaughn's car, do you feel that your car was definitely the better performing? But because obviously when you're in the chase position, you could tell how much you have to manipulate the brake or the handbrake and things like that based on the person's speed in front of you. Do you feel like you had more in the car chasing Vaughn? Who would be fast and who would be slow? Like,
I'll be honest.
I'm trying to ask that in a nice way. Like, give us an example of somebody where you would have to require to like really up your chase game versus somebody that's fast you have a hard time catching up to.
I really had to up my chase game with Vaughn. And Vaughn's car was, I felt like the same exact speed as mine, honestly, and that's what makes it really difficult. On top of, he was putting his car in different spots of the track than I'm used to putting my car. So. Yeah, it's Vaughn. Honestly, my first battle with Vaughn, I thought I lost. Pulling up, I gave Vaughn thumbs up because I made a big mistake following him, and I didn't see how he did following me. But that allowed me to the fact that we got it one more time allowed me to go, okay, this Mustang behaves very differently. It's very fast, and it has bursts of speed that I never experienced following anyone else on the track. So. It was cool to run him again and again and really kind of dissect his driving style and where his car shines. And his car is picking up a lot of speed at massive angle, which was really crazy. And it was eye-opening. It was nuts.
Yeah. I was talking to him about it because there's like a bit of a controversy in the discussion board about him potentially getting 2 5-minute calls, but it was just in practice or in qualifying because his DB during his scouting run, he originally had to take a 5, but then they gave it back to him because there wasn't a rule about that yet, which there probably will be a rule about it now. But I was asking about that, but I was just talking to him about the car because the years that I spent on the team, like the car was always on a knife edge. It seemed like to get the speed out of it, it was just set up so tight because they were one of the last NA teams out there. And then this year, adding nitrous to it has like really changed the game. He said he no longer has to set up the car on a knife edge. He can actually be comfortable, with a middle of the road kill setting. But then for when he goes up against the Odies out there, he can push that kill button and then like get another 200 horsepower suddenly. It was interesting watching him this season from the sidelines.
Yeah, nitrous is a game changer. Any power adder is a game changer. And nitrous is. That's the cheapest, easiest form of power for sure.
Cheapest, except when you have to fill it over and over and over and over because you're using 1 million pounds.
Yeah, it's a variable cost,
right?
But
it's still a lot cheaper. It's cheaper than fuel. I mean,
yeah, I think $3.50 a pound, and like a good nitrous filling area, which is it's not that bad. And if you're running a 600 horsepower LS and you want to run a 100 shot, that bottle will you'll probably go through 20 pounds in one day. So
Do you guys bring your own?
$60 a day.
Do you guys bring your own charging stations, right?
I don't. I travel with 4 nitrous bottles that last me all round, and luckily my car comes back to the shop after every single round, except between Florida and Atlanta because they're only 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
Right.
So I ran over to Chris Forsberg's pit Sunday afternoon, and those guys were thrashing on their cars, and they were nice enough to top off my bottles. And I gave some cash to them, and I really hope they forward it to Chris.
Of course they
Who'd
do.
you give it to? I guess
I'm not gonna give it away.
Odie, did you hear the rumor about butter?
Oh my god.
Okay, where's it? I want to hear this punchline.
Well, I'm not going to spread it.
Ah, okay.
Don't laugh at that. Odie,
Like,
do you have different settings with nitrous depending on who you're going up against as far as speed and like let's say that they're a faster car? Do you unscrew the bottle a little bit more, so to say, or do you just kind of run and just go fast?
no, the nitrous is like strictly controlled my ECU by throttle position and RPM. So we leave the same like tune or map in my car for any scenario, unless there's obviously something going wrong with the motor.
Yeah. Are you adjusting other aspects of the car for different competitors, or you just get your fast setting and you run it?
We adjust suspension and tire pressure. Other than that, mechanically, we don't adjust really for battles. I mean, we adjust in general in practice, but not for a certain battle. You know, there's a qualifying setup, tandem setup, and as tandem gets faster or slower, we change stuff. And honestly, if track conditions change, we change stuff as well, like rain or dry. So
There's
What's-
I have a question, super chat.
Before we get to that, what's
Okay.
the biggest change you're going to make between Orlando and Atlanta now? I imagine that's pretty different suspension setup with Atlanta being mostly flat.
yeah, so we actually had to prep the car in Orlando on Sunday. I started prepping the car with my crew chief Mark. I felt horrible, ran to urgent care while he was working on the car, got some medicine, came back and finished prepping it on Sunday. And then I tested Matt's Corvette at the same time. But long story short, we didn't do too much. We realigned the car, we lowered the car, and we changed the spring rates in it as well.
Okay, so nothing too drastic, I guess.
Super
Paco,
chat
super-
from Foxy Puppy.
All right.
Yeah. Odie, if FD implemented a rule, say your car had to be 2008 or newer, what would you build? Shred on, bro.
Probably like a BMW chassis, 2008. That could be a E92, E90. Probably that.
What was the last year of the S15? I know it's not that late, but
2002, I believe.
you have an S15, don't you, in your shop?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing with that then?
Now we're just taking parts off of it. Today we cut a lot of stuff off of it.
What are you going to do to it?
I'm gonna build a drift car out of it.
What kind of a drift car? Pro 1 drift car? Party car?
Yeah, just something that drifts. Yep.
Feel like you're being kind of aloof here, Odie.
We're building a drift car out of it. Yeah. If anyone wants any of the parts off of it, please let me know. It's accumulating and it's annoying.
Okay, keep your secrets.
What engine was in it? Was there an SR in it?
There was a SR that was naturally aspirated with a 5-speed, and a buddy of mine is supposedly picking it up this weekend. So technically, that's sold.
Nice.
You need something else, Corey?
No, I was just gonna say, must be nice to have friends to sell parts to. I only have Sam and Paco, and they don't buy anything from me.
Ooh. What do you buy from them?
Paco
Corey,
makes
what do you-
elote. Have you ever had that before?
Mhm.
No, I have not.
It's
Actually.
But I never
pretty good,
sold.
corn,
I never sold it to you though. Always free.
No. Oh, was it free? Because I left some pesos on your desk. I don't know if you got them or not.
Have you bought anything from Sam?
Yeah. Actually, his mom sold it to me, and Sam was just the middleman. So I guess that's considered a buying it to Sam.
I'd say mostly Corey and I have an exchange of like goods and services. Less about hard goods,
Uh-huh.
more like little favors, I would say.
Yeah. See, like, I don't know if you know this, but Sam and I, we go to the Renaissance Festival often, and we usually we barter with medallions and old coins. So if that's considered like selling with friends,
Doubloons,
yeah,
bit shards. This is
Yeah.
kind of like an old timey.
I don't know if you're familiar with that stuff, but that's what we've been doing a lot.
Have you ever
lately.
been to the Renaissance Festival, Odie?
Oh, when I was a little kid,
Yeah.
I'd like to go actually. I just don't have time. But
Well, if you need help, Sam and I can definitely show you the ropes. We've been going.
there's
for
one
quite some-
near Irwindale all the time, and I think it happens around the same time as Irwindale, right? There's a billboard up for it all the time.
Dude, that'd be awesome if we could get all the FD dudes at the Renaissance Festival in a joust.
Yeah.
Or at least go to medieval times. Do you guys have medieval times in LA?
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
we got times out here.
I did remember going there, and I wasn't 21 yet, and
What?
Okay.
they just said, hey, if you want something other than like soda, flip your cup upside down, and it was all dark, and I was like, I flipped it upside down, I got beer, and I wasn't 21 yet. It was awesome.
You're a good
I,
man.
I do
Odie.
remember
That's-
medieval times because of that.
Literally proof of breaking the law that you just told us right now. Someone please.
I'm gonna
tweet
write
the
it.
police.
I'm gonna document that.
What township are you in, Odie?
What township, Lord
Unincorporated.
Odie?
Unincorporated. All right, someone please go to Unincorporated Town Twitter, tweet them, let them know that Arimas Bakchis has committed at least a misdemeanor, possibly a felony, and this will not stand. Odie, we've got to go. Sorry, dude. You expect the police at your door soon.
We wouldn't let Odie, just let you know, we wouldn't let that happen. We would protect you, especially Paco, because he needs a winning driver running 2F. So we wouldn't let
Are
that
you talking
happen.
shit on other 2F drivers right now, dude?
Thanks, Corey. Like that definitely hurt.
Why does that hurt?
Because Odie's not running 2F anymore.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, Odie, why did you dump Paco?
No, I got 2F.
Oh, he's got our
rear quarter panels.
LFC panels. Yep.
Yeah, man.
That's the ones that matter. So
What percentage of your win do you think those contributed to? Like, how much did those contribute to your wins?
90% of the aesthetic points for sure.
Paco, you hear that?
Mwah.
So now, Paco,
Mwah.
now do you see why I did that?
Yeah. No. I know.
Yeah, at first you're worried, and you just gotta have trust in your friends. That's what friends are for, dude. You're supposed to trust me and just support me when I'm trying to steer you in the right direction.
Well, it looks like you probably used to run a 2F rear bumper, but fell off. So that's maybe talk to Paco about getting a new one.
That's the butt cheeks bumper.
Yeah.
Hey,
So how did that never took
Yeah,
off? We never
I just
went
remember like
further with that.
I think we actually finished the mold and everything.
Okay.
The butt
That's
cheeks
ready to
one?
roll.
Yeah, we have butt cheeks bumpers available.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? Just a half bumper?
Yeah, it's literally it's called the butt cheeks.
That's cool.
Yep.
And why don't we all have these on our cars yet? Corey's got one of these cars. I got one of these cars. I'll get some butt cheeks on my car.
Well, I mean, I personally like the full bumper better.
No, but that's not what's winning, Paco. You know, it's like once
Yeah.
again, Dio comes over, we up the horsepower. James Ian and Peter comes over, we add the consistency. Odie comes over, wins. Now we have to run a stubby bumper.
Now we gotta spread our butt cheeks around.
Yeah, we got to spread it wide open and just take that stubby bumper.
Are you guys gonna help me
It's
spread the butt
trends.
cheeks? Spread the butt cheeks.
Well,
Yeah, if you guys want to spread the word right now on tweet all your friends, spread the butt cheeks. so we can
Hashtag
get
spread the butt cheeks.
these, so we can get these on people's cars.
mhm.
Make sure to
let's
tag
get
Odie
to-
as well.
Let's get to some Instagram questions here. And if you guys have questions for Odie in the Facebook and the YouTube, please let us know. If you want to make sure your question gets answered, feel free to hit that super chat. Odie, here's a question. Why do you? This one's from Tony. Why do you never see elephants hiding in trees?
I don't think they could climb in a tree. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Because they're so good at it.
That is a great answer.
All right. Any more questions? That's all I got.
Let's see. We have.
What's inquisitive?
Well, we have quite a few questions.
I was reading one, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't ask that one.
Odie, do you have any questions for us?
Well, I already asked what you guys bought off of each other, but that wasn't.
Yeah, that's a good question, though. I respect that question.
I used to
Not
buy
many
Corey.
I
people
was
ask us that.
genuinely interested.
Not many people ask us that, so I'm glad he brought it up this time.
I used
Corey,
to.
are you gonna go do that drift event for $10,000?
I would. I definitely would. But are you gonna go to Grid Life this year?
I'm gonna go to Grid Life Midwest. Falcon tires coming out, so it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, you guys are coming
yeah.
back this year, so
Yes.
it's like that's what I'm waiting for. I'm ready to go out there and. What are you going to be driving? Because I know they bring out a shit ton of cars. They're bringing the S15, or is it a car that you guys are bringing?
No,
bringing?
I'm relying on driving the teal and blue demo cars. You know, whatever's up for grabs, I'll be driving. I really like driving the S15. I get my right-hand drive fix.
Mhm.
At least once a year driving that thing. I really enjoy it.
Well,
No.
Corey won't be able to drive in the $10,000 drift comp because he said that he's gonna go at Midwest, come hard at you, and he's gonna spread your butt cheeks right open.
Nope.
The bumper, he's gonna hit you in the rear, and then a bumper is gonna just tear in half. So be careful depending on what you're running out there, Odie.
Okay, I'll be careful. So sweet, you'll be driving out there, Corey. That's right.
Yep. That's what I'll be doing. I will not. As much as I'd love to go win $10,000, the thing is I don't know anything about toe change. I don't know how to do any of the suspension stuff. Well, if I'm gonna toe gain.
It all depends on how many parts you can borrow from people in the pits too. So
That's another thing. So I'll tell you one thing I do, Odie, when I go compete. I do a thing called lighten your load. And I'm actually going to start that, make a website called lightenyourload.com, which is a racing website, which is the mission is to go to a racetrack with the least amount of things as possible and see how much you can borrow. And the people who collect the most and it's documented, you upload it onto lightenyourload.com, and then you win a prize. You get to win whatever you took.
So is it the most amount of things or the most monetary value of things?
See, that's where we're still shaking out the rules.
Well, there's going to be two lists, like sorted by just number of sheer items that you can borrow versus the monetary things. So it's like, for example, last year, thankfully, our best friend Riley Sexsmith blew his motor, so Corey just pretty much took every bit off that 2J
Every
that
little
could,
sucker,
put on
every
his
little
car.
Cannibalized.
So this year, depending on what car you're running, like let's say you have that S15, Corey could use a lot of parts off that. I think there's a lot of
for sure.
So just
Well,
be
I'm
ready.
gonna ask Odie, what size suit do you wear? What size are you?
Medium.
I don't remember. I think it's like a 54 or something.
Perfect.
But then it's custom tailored. I don't know what that.
Yeah, so I would just leave it unzipped.
Yeah, if you just unzip it and just tie it around your waist, you know. You can't
Yeah, dude, I would look like a
Corey does
full-blown
that.
monster truck driver.
So you know how all the race car drivers do it, where they pull the top of the suit down and then tie it around the waist. Corey,
I actually do that.
Not liking convention. What he'll do, he'll keep the top zipped, and then he'll have the bottom legs out, and he'll tie the legs kind of around his.
Flop them over your shoulders, you know.
Yeah, he'll do like a midsection tie, and then he'll straight Donald Duck it, walking around the event, looking like Porky Pig. Because it gets hot in the Midwest. You use a lot of baby powder too, so it kind of looks like
I call it airing out the beaver.
It kind of looks like Statue of David, just real white and marbly down there from all the baby powder he uses to stay fresh. But only the downstairs is Statue of David. The upstairs is all bundled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like finding a snake in the weeds. It's a mess.
Wow.
It's like,
Sounds like Corey just needs a two-piece. You know,
I do.
Old G-force, like top and jacket and bottom.
I was looking at the old Deist 2 seats, the like black and yellow with the red trims down it.
Yeah.
That's the ones I'm digging into. Because I don't know where you guys get all this money from, so I'm gonna start lightyearload.com to start that, get that going.
JWhite12C on Instagram says, if you win the championship this year, are you gonna retire the S14 or do you go with a if it ain't broke, don't fix it mindset?
I'll evaluate it honestly as we get closer to the end of the season.
All right.
I
If anyone
that-
needs S15 parts, let Odie know.
yeah. The S14's had a lot of seasons on it, but it's running well. But I can only push it so long.
Yeah. You can just do what Turk does, and when you want a new car, you just total the old one real quick. That way you can get a new one.
Super
That
chat.
was a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I got a really important question. It's from one of our favorites, and you may have heard of him, Odie. Have you heard of Iron Dookie?
Mm-mm.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, Iron Dookie is one of our long times. He goes, okay, let's settle this right here, right now. Which Falcon Tire teal and blue car is the correct teal and blue? Because they're all slightly different in color, and the drivers. It drives
I
me
think
nuts.
mine's the correct one.
Okay.
Because
the
I
follow-up.
painted the rear quarter panels 2 times in the off season to get it right.
Okay, so yours is the correct one. Everybody else is funny. Okay, so the second part of this question is also, if you had to name your biceps, what would you name them?
Toughies. I don't know.
Toughies?
That's
Tough puppies? All right.
Tough Puppies.
Tough puppies. All right, that's the episode title. Odie's Tough Puppies.
Yeah.
Tough puppies.
Thanks,
Man.
Andy.
Thanks, Duke.
I have a super chat question from Paul Velichkov. First time super chatter. Your shop used to be in Ontario. Where is it now?
It's in Wrightwood. It's
That's better than Wrongwood.
That's right.
Dory, you spicy boy.
yeah. If you just type fuel suspension in, you'll see it in the Google Maps. It's in a mountain range. It's right near the Angeles Crest National
cool.
Forest. It's a really cool area, actually.
You
Yeah.
shake down your car on Angeles
Ooh.
Crest when you put some new suspension tunes on it.
It is definitely fun having canyon roads all over the place, and it helps a lot if you need to test something out, for sure.
We had to drive up the Willow, and we went up Angelo's Crest, and we had a rental van, and
Nice.
just doing rental van stuff, and we were just driving in the dirt next to the road at like 40 or 50 miles an hour, and then it had been raining a lot recently, and there was just a gigantic ravine in the middle of where we were driving off road, and we couldn't slow down enough to avoid it. So the driver sped up. We kind of jumped the ravine with the rental van and nosedived the front end of it. Ripped off
Odie, are you writing this down so we can report
Yeah.
something?
no,
This
don't
is a
report me.
fire.
It was maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It just
Now we're even with my medieval times.
yeah. All right, let's
We're in
just
report
minivan.
soon.
let's just be
we're-
chill. Let's just be chill here, Odie.
This is actually a really good question. I'm glad I found this. Is from Alika80. And this is a throwback. This is somebody that pays attention to your Instagram very closely. How was driving Matt Field's Corvette? Also, your next car, I suggest, should be an LS S15 Aloha. So,
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for for paying attention. It was actually I thought it was very easy to drive. I think Matt did a good job setting it up, and I think it has a lot to do that we talk about setup all the freaking time. It was fun, even though I wasn't feeling super hot. It was just nasty hot in Florida on Sunday, and I was tired, but it was a fun 2 laps for sure. It handled very well.
do you believe when people say the Corvette is the best drift chassis? Do you believe that, or do you think there's still something better?
I think it's the best drift chassis in terms of you could buy that car and put very little money into it to make it into a drift car, because obviously it's got a good power plant, it's got pretty robust drivetrain, and now there's aftermarket parts that you just bolt on as far as like suspension's concerned to make it work.
Have you
Those questions
seen?
from,
Well, hold on. Have you seen Rob Dam's rotary C6 Corvette he's building?
No, I have not. Paco, I'm kind of like a hermit crab in my shop and at my house, so I have not seen it.
Okay.
That seems to work out for you though. So, all right, this question's from Buttlord420. He says, "Why did the old man fall in the well?"
That's a, I don't know.
Odie? It's
I can't concentrate. I'm like thinking so hard about just hearing this punchline. Go
it's
for it.
because he couldn't see that well.
That poor guy.
All right.
That poor guy.
That's a
That's
cruel.
kinda
That's a
Some
cruel
sort of
joke.
like vulgar response, but
Yes.
That's a good question.
that's a good one.
I have a question. A question from XSV219. I have a question from the grade at Odi Drift. Do you want to see pictures of my corgi?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Good question.
do it.
There you go.
All right.
Slide into that DM.
Well, I want to get this. I want to ask this. And this will be my last question because I feel like field suspension has been doing so much lately. Especially, they won a championship last year, and I believe they won a championship before that.
Yeah.
You're obviously constantly doing a lot with the brand, but Seth Wright 777 asked, "What makes fuel suspension better than the other brands in the marketplace?"
Well, I don't think there's many other brands, especially if you're talking about drifting. We're all talking about drifting now that have the owner participating in so many events and traveling all over the, everywhere I get to go. I get feedback from driving cars if it's in Russia, Europe, Asia, or whatever, and I genuinely really like motorsports, and I put all of that into my company, Fuel Suspension. Like I'm not ever satisfied with just leaving shocks alone. We're always evolving the valving, spring rates, and then if we take on designing an application for a car, like whatever it is, like a Mitsubishi Rally Art or something, we actually spend a lot of time mathematically calculating it to make sure it's correct. So aside from like how much passion I pour into it, and I'm the owner. Also, just if you look at shocks back to back, our stuff has more stroke, less friction. These are things that I pulled from working on starting my business as a motorcycle suspension tuning company. All these fine little details that you'll see in our shocks that you won't see in a lot of other shocks that are similarly priced in the marketplace.
And,
Yeah, you
Nice.
go ahead, Sam.
No. You can keep talking about that.
No, I was just gonna say, obviously, what you've been doing has been proven, and obviously, with your success now coming off of 2 wins, you're definitely doing something right in you and your brand. So that's
Thank you.
awesome, dude. No,
Thank you,
absolutely, absolutely, dude. Totally. I've always been a fan of yours, Odie's. I always said you don't do much talking off track. You do it all on the track, and like this year has been one of those years where it's like you can sit back in your back in your pits and not say a word, and then just let your driving do the talking. And that's why I've always been a fan of the Odie, because of that. You're not the dude that's super up, pumped up in everybody's face. It's just like, I'm going to save it for the track. I'll just lay it out there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
dude.
Good question here from Tiger Lily 420 says, how many times do you feel suspension?
How many times? I need to quantify it.
Yeah, how many times? Because that's part of, I think, like, if you're gonna be in this industry and you're gonna be the president of a suspension company, you kind of got to record that. You got to be honest and accountable. Like, I feel like taxman might not ask that, but I feel like it's pretty important to know.
It's at a very, very high frequency. I've definitely lost count.
Okay, so it seems like Odie doesn't run a clean operation. I would keep an eye out. You're going to be working with him. He can't even answer these simple questions. How many times a day do you think you feel suspension?
Well, today I've actually felt shocks while they're being assembled. So today was 5.
Were they plugged into the outlet, or?
No, they weren't plugged into the outlet.
Actually, where the name "Feel" comes from?
I think we ask him this every time he's on the show.
Maybe.
So when I was in high school, I started a company with my dad called Zeal Racing. He built race engines for motocross race bikes, and I tuned the suspension. I revalved it and set it up for all for the riders, for our customers. In college, I split off and I wanted to only do the suspension side of it. I didn't want to have anything to do with the race motors and everything else that the business was evolving into. I wanted to keep it simple and very niche. So I knew I was going to still have to service all my customers that were Zeal Racing customers for the suspension work. It's just going to be under a different brand name. So I didn't want to shock them too much. And I thought it'd just be funny and fitting to just change the first letter to F from
Good
Z.
man. Good man.
Well, it wasn't funny. People were pretty mad.
Mm.
And you know what? I'll tell you the other thing.
I just want you to keep going with that.
Well, my ending note is going to be on that. Is I'm glad you changed it because people from Canada would have called it Zediel.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to call it Zeal. So you definitely did it to help fix that gap. So
Zediel is my favorite.
Zediel is a very good engine builder, but Feel is just that little bit better. But
All right, Odie, you have the highest points in FD right now. You've won 2 rounds back to back. We're going to see you. We won't see you. We're not going to be there, unfortunately, but everyone will see you in Atlanta that is showing up, and we'll see you on the internet. And yeah, really, really awesome to see your season coming together so well so far. Hopefully, momentum stays strong. Use that dad strength. Don't get sick, man. And of course, thanks for spending time on our show. You guys have any more for Odie before we let him go back to dad duty?
That'll be it.
nope.
No.
Do your thing.
Cool.
Well,
All right, guys.
We'll see you soon, man.
See you. Yeah, and see you all that are coming to Atlanta. Stop by the Feel Suspension booth.
There you
Or
go.
else.
Support all the Feel drivers.
You got it.
Get
Dad.
a feel of those suspensions.
Feel
Cool.
you gotta feel the what do you call the biceps?
Feel the shock. The biceps are as tough puppies.
Yeah,
Tough
I gotta feel
puppies.
them toughies.
Tough puppy.
Stuffy puppies. All right,
All right,
thanks,
Dad.
Odie.
All right, guys. It was
Go
a
take care
pleasure.
of that
Thank you
family.
very
We'll
much.
see you.
Thank
Later,
you,
guys.
Have
guys.
a good night, buddy. Thank you,
See ya.
man.
Bye-bye.
Congrats on the kids and all that.
And the second, dude,
And
for somebody
what-
who's won 2 first places in a row, back to back, he's just like so chill and calm. Like, oh hi guys, I'm Odi.
one question that I didn't get to ask him was, how do you make a Kleenex dance?
How you?
I'll tell you, Sam. Can I tell you? Can I spoil it, or do you want to drop it on me? Because I know this.
Paco, do you know?
How to make a Kleenex dance?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Corey, do you want to drop a
Yeah,
knowledge
I'll-
bomb on this kid?
Yeah, I will because Paco obviously doesn't use enough Kleenex. You put a little boogie in it, dude.
Boom! Take that, motherfucker.
Yeah,
You
suck
got
on
the
those
whole-
eggs, Paco.
How does that
Awesome.
taste?
Yeah, how does that little boogie taste, Paco? Come on, dude.
Jeez. Paco, that
Boogie,
was really
boogie, boogie,
inappropriate
boogie.
what you asked him earlier about what'd you say you're going to do?
What?
You said something really rude to Odie. You
I-
said, well, what was
Ask him
it?
how he conceived his kids.
No, that's what I asked. That was totally
Oh,
cool.
gotcha. That was
I
a great question. You know, the thing is, Sam, that's why you have a degree in journalism.
Mhm.
Because you ask some of the best questions that most people are like, it's controversial, but it's people want to know.
Well, Lorette actually was going to use that one the other day, but I told her like that's not a good question to use, and then I stole that question. So, props to Lorette for coming up with that one.
Also, Sam, I'm going to read a YouTube question for you from Joshua Osborne. He says,
Okay.
Hey, Sam, if me and the homies rent out balcony at Willow, if we invite you, will that be enough to motivate you to dust that thing off and bring it? And then he put a smiley face afterwards.
boom.
Yes, as long as I'm in town, I will do my best to bring my car and make it. That'll be a good.
What is stopping you? Hold
Bring-
on, Sam.
bring
What
the
is
camera
stopping
crew.
you from making that thing run?
It's nowhere near me. It's in Ontario, California, near Odie, and my slave masters won't let me have it at the shop, even though there's like 20 other broken down cars there. But that's showbiz, man. I don't have a lot of time to work on it right now, anyways. But I want it there. I mean, I spent a little bit of time today.
Okay, so let's just be. Can I just be real here? Can I
Yeah,
just be real? You're a millionaire now,
Yeah, pretty much.
and I'm going to tell everybody on the internet that you made tons of golds and riches off of this drift
I'm
cast.
filthy rich.
Why can't look at this? You have a freaking green screen behind you. That's a couple thousands
Wait,
of dollars.
no, this is real. We're
This
back.
is
to
a real
back.
studio. Oh, we're
Yeah,
back to back.
We can kiss whenever we want.
Okay, so
49 from giving kisses.
yeah, Paco gets really weirded out when we do that. I don't know why. That's what. Isn't that what best friends do?
Yeah, Paco.
Yeah,
Isn't that what
Kiss in the neck.
Paco's in? Yeah, Paco's in Spain, and Spain people they always kiss each other on the nose. That's part of their greeting. They go,
In the nose.
Boink.
Boop, little
But
boop.
why don't you just pay somebody to fix your car? Why don't you just spend a couple?
because I
$100?
want to do it myself. I want to make a video series about it. I want to.
But it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Shut up. You're never
It's
gonna happen.
happen. Do you know people want to see video series of you driving? They watch enough Forsberg and Turk rebuilding these cars. They want to see him drive.
Mine's different because I'm bad at it.
You're bad at everything, but that's I want to see a bad driver, not a bad mechanic.
I don't know. I think both are funny to watch.
Do you know what's funny to watch? You struggling to get in your old racing suit.
I don't have a racing suit. I always go raw dog style.
I know. Well, your birthday suit then just fit into that thing.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be my one and only new contribution to YouTube. I'm gonna do a whole video, Porky Piggin, and then I'm gonna get banned. I'm like, sorry guys, can't make any more content.
Sam, you should really just get that thing running so we can just see you drive already, and we can drive because
Well,
I'm telling you.
You said it runs, right? It's just missing. It's just missing what?
It had an
driver.
electrical gremlin. Corey or not Corey. Chris's like one of his shop hands. Danny has. He's the one that's holding on to it, and he's been tracing that. I think the big things that it needed were I've got 3 handbrakes in it right now. None of them are hooked up, so I need to get a dual caliper set up for the rear or just actual brakes for it that I can hook up. I need to hook up one of my 3 e-brakes. And then there's some weird electrical gremlin going on where it drains the battery every time it has it plugged in, because the previous owner had some weird security system on it that just has a bunch of wires that are probably being parasitic somehow. I think that Danny fixed I had a clamp for the intercooler, one of the vibrant clamps that was installed incorrectly, probably by Turk, and had a bad boost leak. So. Yeah, just a bunch of little things, but I got to fix it. Oh, my roll cage is rusting like crazy because I never painted it.
Never painted
Been
it.
sitting in California, wet, salty air for 4 years. So it's just a bunch of little stuff. It also looks like dick. So not because the body kit. My 2F kit is installed improperly though.
We don't know because you forgot what your car looked like because you don't do anything with it.
Forgot. I've got my cool BC wheels. Oh yeah, that's we also had a super chat from Sean that I saw after Odie left. Sorry about that. He said, "What's with Warehouse being on BC this year?" I imagine just because sponsorships change. You know, sometimes people pay more money. Sometimes
They offer better deals.
yeah, they offer better deals. There's many reasons, but BC is definitely a good contributor into the sport. So I didn't say Siri. Hey Siri. How do you say Siri? Hey Siri, how do you say? My phone's going nuts. Yeah, BC supports our halftime show, of course, and does a bunch of other stuff in the sport. So maybe they made. Well, hear my Godfather impression. Maybe they made them an offer they couldn't excuse. I've never seen The Godfather. You couldn't tell.
You fail.
Oh, there's Brian being mean from the background.
That's all he
Brian, what have you
does.
been doing this whole time?
Studying suspension.
Studying suspension. What have you learned so far?
That it suspends your car from the ground.
Very good, Brian.
That's great.
Andrew Falk coming in with a late super chat here, and the worst punctuation spelling I've seen. Can you, well, it's one word, come to, one word, FDNJ and Corey drifting in any series? Corey, can you answer that?
Andrew, I would appreciate that $2. And we're going to send that to Sam's Rebuild S14 fund, which.
That's what Josh said underneath there. He said.
And I wish we can cue In the Arms of an Angel right now, so we can play that, and all the proceeds will go to Sam fixing his car. But we will not be in New Jersey, unfortunately. We'll be doing the remote halftime show, even though we wish we could be out there. And then I'm going to be doing Grid Lives all year. I'm doing Midwest. I'm doing I'm doing Colorado. We're all going to be there. We're going to be partying.
Colorado, Mile High City. You're going to butt chug one White Claw, and you're going to be through the moon.
Oh, for sure. No, that's the quickest way to get it straight to the dome. Watching Pro 2, very motivating, very exciting. I'm sure I'm trying to work up the urge to want to
Well, you
go
know
back
you
to
could
that.
never compete on that level.
What's that?
Oh, nothing.
Oh,
My
I
mic's
told
outside.
you, Sam. Ever since I drove Grid Life with Forsberg and Vaughn and Osbo, I went full noon, dude. I had I'd be honking my horn right now if that was the case. But
Yeah, I got you.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I feel good, but I just want more time. I want more time to develop my car. I want more time to develop myself. And
Like
the other
Odie
thing too,
said, the more time you take not driving, the better your skills go.
I would be a rock star then. I would be a beast. No, I want to compete again. I was thinking about doing some pro-am stuff just to kind of wet my whistle again.
Get that whistle submerged.
Get that whistle totally
The whistle.
submerged. I love competing. I still have the drive to compete, but
Yeah.
I do. But I equally enjoy
Like partying.
just drifting. I just love drifting. I love drifting in general. And I have way more fun doing it with my friends and then coming up with bad, silly ideas on what we can do on track together and then doing it, coming back, laughing about it, and then trying to do something else that's stupid on track.
Dude,
I
I'm gonna
enjoy
be so
that.
happy when I get to drift again. It's
What's that?
I'm gonna be so happy when I get to drift again.
I think a lot of people are, but you're being a lazy ass.
I'm not being a lazy ass. I can't have my car near me. That's
But
a problem.
you can pay somebody to go to your car and do it. Didn't you take the car to Apex Eye and have?
Yeah, it's got a sick ass tune on it. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Minus some
Then
little thing.
take it there again and say, "Here's 50 bones, fix the
But I
wiring."
want to do it because I want to do it wrong.
The problem is you just said it. You don't have time, so.
But
work
I'm
to fix
gonna.
it.
I'm
When?
gonna once the
Okay,
car gets over
let's
to
get this on the record, guys. Chat, drop an F in chat for Sam. So let's get this on the record. What is your goal? What is your deadline to get your car running again? When is it? And we're gonna hold you to it. We're gonna hold you to
the
it.
very best, like no one ever.
Anybody? I know. Yep. So when are you giving yourself a deadline? We're gonna hold you to this
I
deadline.
can't because the deadline is it depends on when my slave whippers will let me have my car at the office and let me make content about it.
I want some more Fs in chat. Sam needs it. We got a couple in there.
I'll press F.
But
again.
Sam, the thing is procrastination. That is
Not procrastination. I just need my bosses to let me have my car there and I'll make good stuff with it. Okay?
Okay. Well, hold on a second. Super chat. Homer, sorry, with the 269. Corey, don't be a hypocrite bashing on Sam. I love you, Sam.
Thank
Sam
you.
looks like-
For one, someone's got my goddamn back in chat.
All right, Homer. Sorry, I'm gonna have to do this to you, but if
You're
you
gonna call
remember a year or two ago when my car was in the same position, you forgot about dickhead Sam and
What are you
Paco
talking
was
about? I was
yelling
so
at me
nice.
about having a non-running
I
car.
was so
guess
supportive
what,
and
buddy?
nice. I would
The
never.
tables have turned.
I would never.
We're
fucking
flip-flopping.
be mean about it.
We're flip-flopping. I'm gonna drop another F in chat for you, Sam. Just
All I
because.
did, I'm gonna do another F to counteract your F. All I did was say nice things about you, Corey, while your car wasn't
You
working.
did not. You did not. You
Oh,
absolutely
God.
did not.
All I said was how much your car was ready and that you were ready to go into competition.
See, during that time, I would turn on the news and I'd watch the news, and they would keep mentioning evildoers, and all I remember is picturing your face because that's exactly what you are. You're an evildoer.
Oh, that's rude.
Sorry, I'm just speaking the truth.
Here's the other thing too: is
So,
like, what if I get like my car fixed and like Grid Life South is coming up or whatever? People are like, oh, just drive there, and then I just do a full send into the pit and just rip all four wheels off of it, and then just flip it out, just destroy it, one run. I guess that'd be cool.
That would be worth. Okay, talking about making YouTube money, Sam. That would probably give you more credit than any driver-on-driver you've ever done.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll send it off to Jalopnik. John would be like, "Hey, you remember Drift Idiot from 4 years ago? Look what he just did."
Well, if I
And
could
it's
make one of those like Arab drift Instagram ones, that have like 25 million followers, where it's like, check out this asshole blowing all four wheels of his drift car off. That's how I'll get money and famous finally.
Well, that's when you hop out of the car and I'm standing there with like a little lighter and I light your suit on fire and you just ignite in flames and you just start, and then you run through the pits and you look like that dude. Paco, who's that superhero that's on fire?
The human lighter.
Corey Hosser after Taco Bell.
No, did Nicolas Cage play him in a movie?
What?
You're talking about the Fantastic Foreskin.
No, he's talking about Ghost Rider.
Look at that
Ghost Rider.
Sam,
Ghost
we light you on
Pepper
fire.
Rider.
You hop out of the car. I'm hiding next to your wheel and tire. You hop out. I sprinkle a little fuel on your feet. I light you on fire. You run through the pits. We'll upload that on YouTube, and you'll probably get maybe 160 views, which should pay out for your new suit.
Mm-hmm.
Just an idea.
I'm looking at one last joke here before we send it off.
Do you know what? I'll tell you one last joke. Here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a picture to Brian, and he's gonna give me 1 second. Go ahead and start digging, Sam. I'm gonna tell me your last joke, and I'll tell mine.
Okay. Paco, do you have any good jokes?
Nope. Not appropriate for the show, though.
Oh, Jesus, Paco.
I mean,
You got a poo brain.
after your pigeon joke, obviously, you kind of like set the bar pretty high. But at the same time, I don't want to get deported, so I gotta keep it.
Brian.
I gotta
Sam,
keep it on the
don't look
down
at
low.
chat. This is just for Brian only.
Mm-hmm.
You just watch our monitors, buddy, because this is the only joke I can think of. Brian, when you're ready to post that in chat, I'll describe it. This is the best joke I can think of.
I know what you're gonna do, you piece of shit.
This is the best joke I can think of for
Don't
20.
do it.
I'm gonna do it. Sorry, guys. I'm not known to be a prankster.
Corey's gonna say something about my car.
No, I'm
Need a
not.
joke.
Why would I say that?
I'll fucking get you, dude. I am sick of this.
What?
I'm not. Can Brian Key global ban Corey? Just ban him from the internet. Ban him from.
All right,
Wow.
guys. Brian, are you looking to pull that up?
Ban him from Facebook,
The
Tinder,
Driftcast
Grindr,
chat, right?
global
Yeah,
ban.
it's in chat. I just need to show the world what the biggest joke is right now. It's gonna be the longest running joke.
That's
in the
a
history.
pretty big dad joke.
Yeah. See, Sam's good at dishing it, but he's not good at receiving it. I can see him like he's turning bright red. He's looking like a little tomato. You're looking like a tomato head.
I'm furious right now. I'm trying to. The global ban command is not working.
It's not working. The exclamation point global ban.
It's not working. I'm trying to ban you from your bank accounts. Trying to ban you from fucking band-aids. I don't care. You're out, dude.
No front slash or back slashes are working.
Look,
Yes.
I'm a Navy SEAL with 93 confirmed kills, and if you think it's funny to make fun of me like this, that's fine. You'll see what happens.
Do you know what's funny, Sam? You had the
Right click
world's
on
best
screen.
drifters work on your drift car to not be running.
That is funny,
On
Corey.
the menu down there, right click on screen.
No,
Okay,
Brian, don't right-click on screen
No,
unless it's the
Brian.
global ban.
it is okay. It is the Brian. Go ahead and hit that global ban button real quick.
Right click on screen the same way.
Right click on screen, same way. Paco's giving a run through.
same
Let's
way
see
that-
this.
Corey, if a child refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
Next. No. Screen.
I would say so in some degree. I would say
Same.
so.
The same way that you do with Corey's.
Paco's laying down the
So,
law.
so what you guys are listening to right now, this is behind the scenes stuff. We're going full behind the scenes right now.
Good BTS.
You guys are getting the full. You guys are getting the full BTS on how Driftcast operates. This is Paco giving Brian some commands, some verbal commands.
Mhm.
Me and Sam are usually arguing pre and post show. Oh, here it is.
This
There's-
is a picture of
this is-
my car as I bought
Here's
it.
the biggest joke of 2019 so far.
Except for that car is from like 2014. That's the body kit. That's the wheels. That's the style.
That's how
Man,
you
used to be
bought it,
clean.
right?
Yeah, that car was pretty clean before I fucked it up.
You guys, so everybody that's watching live stream, this is Sam's Drift Idiot 240SX that has been sitting
That
for
was
years.
KA power. That thing was awesome. I should have never swapped out the KA. That was the beginning of the end. Oh, and also that was before the previous owner put a bedliner hood on it. When I bought it, it already had the bedliner hood.
Really? Well, it probably put the bedliner hood on it because it's probably thinking he's gonna be sleeping a lot, and somebody's shop in Ontario that they
Which
needed
is
a
a
bed
pretty
to sleep on.
pretty good move when you think about it. A lot of people go for hood lightning, but he's like, no, I'm gonna spray his bedliner on it,
Yeah.
make it stronger, because I think he probably did a lot of hood sits, hood slides.
Well, isn't that the one way to unlock the doors? You slide across the hood, like you're swiping an iPhone to unlock it. You slide across the hood and it unlocks the door. It's a new technology.
Definitely. All right, well, that was a pretty good joke, Corey. You want to shut this show down before you get global banned?
We can easily shut down the show. We easily could.
Paco, are you back?
Do you wanna shut down the show?
Yeah, I wanna shut down the show.
How do you wanna shut down the show?
I want to thank all our Patreons, and of course I want to thank Grid Life, and of course I want to thank Link ECU. I want to thank a Link ECU. We gotta thank the Patreons for giving us the money to party.
That's my.
We gotta thank the one and only AM Intakes. If you like to suck, get an AM Intake. These guys don't suck, only their filters do. Go ahead, Brian, put the camera on me real quick.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Guys, keep doing that in the background. It's fine. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget our next mass and a congregation next week.